welcome to the Wolfchase Toyota Insider on the Memphis Tiger Network. I'm Jeff Brightwell alongside Kevin Robinson. And Coach, the bulk of the regular season is done. We'll talk a little bit about kind of scheduling, how it factors out with the conference meet and then another meet after that. But first of all, let's go back to last weekend. You go over to the A-State Open, and that's exactly what it was. An Open, it wasn't team scored. And for you, it was a chance to tune some people up before you go to the American this week. Not so much concerned really with specific standings. Just wanted to get that edge back there before you went to the American.
Yeah, the meet really served a purpose for us to try to get our athletes one final tune-up, as we call it, to kind of get them prepared for the championship coming this weekend. It was the nicest weather that we've seen all year, so we're thankful for the opportunity to compete under the sun for once. It was a very good meet for us. We had a lot of season bests and personal bests across the board. It really was for us a great opportunity to get those kids ready and prime their confidence. And, it helps us to spring forward into this championship this weekend. And, I feel pretty good about it. And
I'm sure it's kind of an interesting discussion with the athletes. I'm sure they're seasoned athletes and mature enough to know what the deal is when they go to something like that you go out and go, yeah, I want you to compete to win, but if you don't get the result you were looking for, don't beat yourself up over it. There's a purpose to going to this before you go to win, specifically down at the American.
Yeah, the purpose of the meet was exactly what you just spoke about. We need to make sure that we're ready to compete this weekend. The championship wasn't at Arkansas State. The championship's in Tampa in a couple of days. So that's the ultimate preparation goal. So last week we put our kids in events in which we felt would help prime them for this weekend. So it wasn't the be-all of the season. It was the biggest preparation phase of the season. And we had a lot of great performances. So that being said, I'm really looking forward to the meet this weekend. It's hard to really know what to expect because this is our very first inaugural outdoor championship. So we're really excited. Anxious to see what the other coaches in this conference are going to do in terms of entries. But I feel like we are very well represented. I feel like we're deep in a lot of areas. I think we've got a lot of weapons. And we should go in, and if we perform up to our abilities, we should do very, very well.
Just to touch on one more thing, at A-State, wanted to mention Yannick Shaley got a nice PR, and the shot put, your women pole vaulters did pretty well over there, too. You had to be happy coming out of it.
Yeah, well, like I said, we did have some very good performances, and the women's vault, that's an internal battle. Those are some great, great kids, and they would do anything in the world for each other. But when it's time to compete, they get after it.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch, and it's a very competitive atmosphere. I really expect that group to go in and do very, very well this weekend. And you mentioned Yannick. He had a monster PR in the shot put. Did a great job. He had 4 throws that were over 18 meters, and he had never broken 18 meters up until this point. So obviously he's ready to go. Maya had another season best in her 400 hurdle race. Joe Craig on the track for the first time ran real well in both the 100 and 200. Our 800-meter contingent did quite well. So, we're firing on all cylinders. It's just a matter of putting it all together on one day or over the course of one meet, and that's what we're hoping to do this weekend.
Well, let's talk about this weekend down at USF and Tampa. You're definitely going to get some warm weather. So getting loose and being able to stretch things out shouldn't be an issue down there.
Yeah, we're excited about it. Typically the weather in Tampa is going to be pretty favorable for an outdoor event. Right now the forecast is a lot of rain and some thunderstorms, so we're hoping to avoid that, but anything can happen. No matter what, the conditions are going to be the same for everybody that's there. So our job is to step up and do our best when it matters the most, regardless of what anybody else does.
You've talked about being in the new conference. There'll be a couple of schools you're familiar with coming from Old Conference USA, and you don't really run into a lot of the schools throughout the season. But in researching these guys on the websites and on American.org and the other sites, what do you see out of this conference as far as track and field?
Well, I think we got a pretty good taste of it at the indoor championship. Yeah. The University of Connecticut and the University of Memphis do not schedule the same meets. So we're going to see each other 3 times a year, and that's going to be our cross indoor and outdoor championship.
Right.
And a lot, that goes for a lot of the schools. We're geographically, we're not that close. So we're competing against each other on the internet more than anything. The rankings, the meets, in Texas and the meets up north and the meets down, where we're at, they're going to be a lot different with a lot of different elements and a lot of different weather conditions and things like that. So, the best test is going to be when we all line up together and get after it. And I know that there's some great teams in this conference because we battled indoor. I don't know for sure how they're going to enter their guys and their girls. That's kind of a gamble. It's a little bit of a chess match. But, again, like I tell my team, the only thing we can control are our own actions. And as long as we perform to the best of our ability when it matters the absolute most, that's what matters. If we do that, we're going to be very good.
And a lot's on the line at these conference meets. Number one, a team championship.
Mm-hmm.
You're all scored across the board with your entries in there. But on an individual basis, everyone trying to maybe their last chance if they're kind of flirting with maybe making it into the NCAAs to get that push. You've got some that are pretty much locked up probably for the regionals, but this is the last chance probably. And you'll go down to Georgia Tech in a few weeks, maybe the last chance there, but a chance to impress the committees.
The conference championship is extremely high intensity atmosphere. That is the best opportunity for a lot of these kids to advance into NCAA postseason. And we do have another opportunity at Georgia Tech, and we should have a few that step up and do really, really well there. But the atmosphere at a championship like this it's extremely intense. Everything's on the line. This is where we see the best of the best year in and year out. So, I feel like this meet's important for so many different reasons. Number one being the first time that we've done this with the American Athletic Conference. Every champion is going to have a conference record, and that's unique. So, if Yannick goes out and he wins the shot, he's going to be the first ever American Athletic Conference record holder. And that to me, that's a pretty neat deal. So I think that, and everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to get on the podium, and they want to represent the University of Memphis. And we all want to win the title. So it's just a really exciting, intense atmosphere, and I think it brings the best out of a lot of people.
All right, Coach. Sounds like it'll be an exciting weekend. Best of luck. We'll catch up with you next week.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
That is head coach Kevin Robinson. I'm Jeff Brightwell. This is the Wolfchase Toyota Insider on the Memphis Tiger Network.